अर्जुन उवाच कथम भीष्मम अहम संख्ये द्रोणम च मधुसूदन ईशुभि प्रतियोत्स्यामि पूजा अर्हो अरिसूदन. Hello friends, this is the fourth shlok of the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and in today's video we will understand this shlok in detail. So let's first understand its meaning. So the shlok says Arjun Uvach, which means Arjun said, Katham Bhishmam Sankhye, which means how can I kill Bhishma? Dronam cha Madhusudana, and also Drona, O Madhusudan. Ishubhi Pratiyotsyami, which means how can I answer them with my arrows? Puja Arho Arisudana, which means that they are worthy of worship from me, O Arisudan. So, in the previous two shloks, Shri Krishna has told Arjun that how has this cowardice entered inside you. You should get rid of it, stand up, and fight them. Over here now, Arjun is replying to that statement of Shri Krishna and is saying that how can I answer them with my own arrows? They are worthy of worship, they are venerable to me. So, the first thing that you have to notice over here is that Arjun over here is giving a reply to the statement that has been provided by Shri Krishna, which means that he is questioning the instructions that have been given to him by Shri Krishna. So, by this fact itself, we can clearly see how the teachings of Gita are different from the teachings of the other religious texts. If you look at Quran or Bible, you will see that the instructions that God gives in these texts are absolute. Nobody can question them, nobody can raise any doubts about them. While over here, you can clearly see that when Sri Krishna is telling Arjun that you should rise up and fight, Arjun is questioning what Sri Krishna has told him. He's telling him that how can I fight them? You are asking me to fight, but how can I fight them? They are venerable to me. So this is a very important difference that you see between the dharmic ideologies and the Abrahamic ideologies. In the Abrahamic ideologies, all the instructions that are given are absolute. They are never questioned. You will never see in those texts that the messengers are questioning the instructions that are coming to them from God. And even if somebody questions them or somebody acts in opposite to what these instructions are, they are dealt with a vengeance. The vengeance of God comes on them and they are destroyed. While over here you will see that the people who are on the other side, that is Bhishma and Drona, due to some circumstances, they have ended up on the side which is contrary to the side of Sri Krishna, but they are still treated with a lot of respect. They are not treated inhumanely as they get treated in the Abrahamic texts. Even if you read Mahabharata, you know that Drona and Bhishma both were able to see Krishna actually in his true form, which means that they are highly revered. So they are highly revered, but still they are on the other side of this war. So this kind of understanding towards the other point of view is something which is very common in dharmic texts, and this is the reason why you will see very little communal tension between different sects of the dharmic ideologies. So this is something that is very important and you have to understand it, that many a times people will tell you that the teachings of Gita and Quran and Bible are all the same. Well, they might be same to a certain extent, but there is a lot of difference between them also. There's a lot of difference in terms of the details in which those instructions have been provided, and these things are the ones which make a big difference in terms of how the attitude of a certain religion or a certain ideology actually develops. Now the objections that Arjun is presenting over here are actually very convincing. Arjun is saying that how can I reply to Drona and Bhishma by my arrows? I mean, Bhishma is Arjun's grandfather and Drona is his preceptor. They are highly revered people for him. In all societies, if you were to even disobey them, it will be considered a bad thing. If you were to disobey your grandfather or your teacher, that in itself is a big taboo in most societies. And over here, you can see that Sri Krishna is asking Arjun to fight them. So, of course, Arjun will say, how can I reply to them with my arrows? I cannot even reply to them in a normal sense. If they were to tell me anything, I will not even reply in a bad sense with my mouth itself. How can I do that with my arrows? So, you can see over here that the social conventions that are there are being questioned over here, and this shows that the dharmic tradition actually has this tendency of not really putting everything in stone. All the instructions are not to be put in stone. There is always some wiggle room to maneuver around them and basically act in a manner which is not conventional. So that kind of a wiggle room, that kind of a freedom is always present in dharmic traditions, and that's why dharmic traditions have never been as tyrannical as other traditions have been. Dharmic traditions have always shown tolerance towards others. They have always accepted the ideas from outside because there is nothing which is set in stone in these traditions. So I hope that I have explained this shlok well to you. I did not discuss too much about the names over here. The name Madhusudan over here, why it has been used for Sri Krishna. And I think the way I have explained it to you, you might know the answer already. And it'll be nice if you can write the answer in the comments below and show me why the name Madhusudan has been used over here. The name Arisudan that has been used for Sri Krishna over here just implies one who destroys his enemies, and of course, God will destroy his enemies. So there is nothing very subtle about that with regards to the name Arisudan over here. So I hope I have explained this shlok well to you. With that, I'll close this video. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.